Speaking of Alvarez, Oscar De La Hoya just made a comment the other day about how he doesn't feel that they need to do a split with Gennady Golovkin, but in fact that they'll offer just a flat amount, and that's it. They're not even gonna waver on that. What are your thoughts on that, considering that Gennady Golovkin is the champion currently at 160?
Well, they'll argue that Alvarez is the star attraction, that, he's the one that sells the buys. I mean, ultimately, Golovkin is a star. Is he a super duper duper star? Question mark. How many people really know him in Britain? It's a great stage for him to come. But, we know that the trade fans love Gennady Golovkin. Everyone is fascinated by, they've heard about him, the casual fans, they want to see him.
Yeah.
But, maybe more people, certainly in the Hispanic audience, they know Alvarez. I don't know. Listen, Golovkin is the champion. Golovkin is deserved. But that's not my area. That's for the promoters to fight it out.
Was it smart for him to vacate the WBC belt?
Listen, he's fighting Liam Smith next week. Maybe that's a smart move. Maybe that he needs another win. He's fought Khan, he fights Smith. Maybe they have one more, possibly up in weight slightly, and then they do the deal after that. Oscar De La Hoya is a clever guy. He's obviously he was a wonderful fighter. He's been a promoter a long time now. They know what they're doing with Alvarez. It's just a shame for fight fans that's not happened yet. But look, come on, we can't have everything. We've got Kovalev Ward coming up. We just had Frampton Santa Cruz. We had Fury Klitschko last year. There's some great fights. Joshua winning a world title, heavyweight title. As I said, there's 14 British world champions. It's absolutely buzzing here.
All right, and lastly, can I get your take on the Canelo Alvarez Liam Smith fight that's coming up the following weekend?
I've known Liam a long time. I know the Smith brothers well. Paul works with us. Paul and Callum on the bill on Saturday night, of course. It's a tough fight. It's a real tough fight. You might look at it and say, has Kell Brook got more chance of beating Golovkin than Liam Smith has of beating Alvarez? Probably Liam, because he's more naturally, the size probably stands him in better shape. But of course he starts an underdog. Can he win? Of course he can win. Any fighter can win. Liam sparred with Amir Khan before their fight. He'd learn a bit from that. I think he's a very, very underrated guy, Liam Smith. He's the one of the Smith brothers. He became world champion first, and he came through the quiet way. Don't underestimate Liam. He's a tough guy. Hard ass, but I really wish him well out there, and I hope that he puts on a great show, and if he can pull off the upset win, wouldn't it be amazing? It'd be amazing for Kell and amazing for Liam Smith. Absolutely fantastic. And I've got to finally say, I'm really pleased that Klitschko and Fury rematch is finally on. We can get that done,
yeah, right?
And then let's try and get Fury and AJ, or Klitschko and AJ, or AJ and Hay, or let's get the super fights on for next year. But that's obviously a very, very big rematch.
Who would you prefer to see AJ fight next, though? If you had it your way, if you could pick one person, who do you think's right for him?
I want to see him fight Joseph Parker. He's his mandatory. I've talked to Joshua about this. Listen, Joshua will fight anyone, and I really want him to see him fight Parker. Parker, Pulev, Stavern seems to be busy, someone like that, or maybe it's Pulev first, then it's Parker. A couple of fights, and then I think the big one in the summer. Now, whether the big one is Hay or Fury or Wilder, although I think I'd rather see Wilder in Vegas maybe as a debut. I don't know. Listen, we're sport for choice. Let's see what happens with Fury Klitschko. My gut feeling is that Klitschko's a year older and he won't be as bad as he was last time, but Fury will probably still find a way because of styles. And if Fury wins that, I'd love to see AJ and Fury next summer at Wembley. But if it can't be made, AJ and Hay is as big a fight in different ways.
Right. How exciting, though, is it for the heavyweight division?
Oh, it's tremendous. I mean, look.
It's such a vast difference from what it was just a couple of years ago.
I grew up watching Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson was just invincible, I just remember being in utter shock when I heard the news. I was in America at the time, I was in college, and massive American footballers were in this frat house. The news came through from Tokyo, and there were big man in tears. I mean, there was a lot of tears that night. No one could believe that Tyson had lost his mantle. Yeah. The heavyweight division has always been incredible. Then you had Lewis and you had Holyfield and Bowe and all those great meetings. Since then, we've had a little bit of a divide. The Klitschkos have ruled. They've been wonderful athletes, Vladimir and Vitaly, incredible for the sport. But, we've waited for an American to come along. Wilder's come along. Now we've got the Brits. We've got Tyson Fury. We've got Anthony Joshua. We've got Hay, who wants to be part of the party again. Joseph Parker from New Zealand, Luis Ortiz. It's packed with talent. And I think that any one of them could beat any other one on any given night. That's what we don't know. We don't know if Hay beats AJ, or if Fury beats Hay, or Fury beats Wilder, or Klitschko beats. We just don't know. That's what we want. We want them all to fight each other. But I think with Joshua and with what Eddie's doing, he has to just take his time because he's not as advanced as some of the others.
Right, the title came early.
It did come early. I think he took the right route. I was at ringside for Charles Martin's fight with Glasgow, and Eddie said, "What do you think?" And I said, "You know what? I think that it's worth taking the shot with AJ." It worked out well. Joshua then fought Dominic Breazeale, which was a perfect fight. He got a few rounds in. I think that maybe he needs one or two more before a biggie, whereas Fury's already there in the biggies. So is Deontay Wilder, really. So they're a little bit more advanced than Joshua, which he accepts. But Joshua would fight everybody now. But I think it's Eddie's job to sort of hold him back slightly. And I think the next 2 years are going to be fantastic for heavyweight boxing and for British sport.
And the last one actually
Make sure you download the Behind the Gloves app. It's free, and it features really cool stuff like a fight calendar that reminds you of all the upcoming fights, and it allows for you to, with one click, to remind yourself directly to your phone. And it also features 24/7 breaking news that's going on in boxing. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that and subscribe to this channel.